action. Hola a todos y bienvenidos de nuevo a mi canal. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm your host for the day. My name is Sarah, and today we're going to be doing something very educational, especially for anyone who's completing the final year of university and is writing their dissertation. Just like me, finally it is here, the final year of the undergrad, and we'll see what comes after that. But well, obviously, yeah, this is something we've all been looking forward to, and it's finally here. We're writing our dissertations, our final exams. There's a lot of coursework going into this, and obviously we want to start off on the right foot, and that is why I'm here today to share with you, the little tips that I've been using that have really been getting me through writing my dissertation. And I'm just going to share them with you. Let's go. Number one, which is very important for me, is looking at the marking scheme. Obviously, you do want a blueprint for what it is that you're doing. You want to follow the right trajectory. You want to start off on the right foot. So the best advice that I can give you on that one is just looking at your marking scheme. Obviously, we all have different goals. I don't know about you. You might want to get a high 2-1. You might get a first. You might get a high 2-2, low 2-1. I don't know. That's up to you. But obviously, for me personally, I always say, like, reach for the stars and you might actually get to the moon. Do you know what I mean? You might actually even get to the stars. I don't know. I personally am aiming at a first. So anybody who's in the same boat with me, we have to look at the marking scheme and see what it expects of us so that we know what to do. We know the steps to follow to get to where we want to be. That's number one for me, obviously. Even in the little things, like what font to use, what to attach to your dissertation, and when you're done, I feel like you should do that at the beginning. Not that you start doing everything and printing everything and then you realize, oh, I have used the wrong font, and let me go back. You know what? You also want to save time. So just look at the instructions before you actually start. Yeah. Then I feel like I saved the most that I could on that point. Moving on to I had to write everything down because obviously this is the same guide that I use for myself when it comes to my dissertation. So I'm just going to be going through everything and explaining it the best that I can. Number two, you want to do vast research. Like, you want to know, you're showing off. That's what you're doing in this dissertation. You want to show your professors and everybody who's marking it that you've read the material, you learned, you've read it, you know it, you know what you're talking about, you know your theoretical approaches. You were smart before you came to uni, but now that you've gone through uni, you're not just smart, you learned, you know the theories that you need to use, you've got everything on your fingertips, okay? You know the people to mention, you know how to reference your work properly, all this stuff. There's a lot of literature research that goes into it, so that's what you want to do, and you want to do it very aimed. You don't want to read just anything and broad, but you want to do it very aimed into the topic of discussion in which you're going into, right? So I feel like in addition to the reading list that your lecturer has already given to you or your tutor for your specific dissertation, you should be on top of things regarding the topic that you're writing about, basically. It's also it's very easy to like Google stuff, but especially for scholarly stuff and for university writing, don't just go and Google stuff and go to Wikipedia. That's already like the first wrong turn probably that you could have made. It's always best if you type in Google Scholar and it will bring up articles, scholarly articles for you to read and do your research on. Another thing is it is also very, very good to read up on people that have done well in previous dissertations. So good ranking dissertations from previous years you know, just to see, not to copy the ideas, but just to see what made this person outstanding. What approach did this person use? What format does this person use? Is there anything that I could use in my dissertation that is going to make it just as good as this one, even better? Because yeah, why not? And most dissertations, I have realized when reading through this, have 5 paragraphs. So obviously we've got the introduction, then we've got the 3 parts of the body, which is your presentation, and you've got the conclusion. I don't know about you, but usually when I'm writing any work for like any scholarly work or a long article for uni, I usually start with the body itself, and then I write the conclusion, and then I go back to the intro, because my intro is usually reflecting on what I'm going to write about in the dissertation for this instance, and I never really know what I'm going to write about at the very beginning in detail. So I usually do the body, do the conclusion, then go back and do the introduction. Point number 3 is you have a specific word count. Usually for all dissertations, your word count should be anywhere from 6,000 words to 30,000 words. My word count is 14,000 words this year for my dissertation. There's 2 ways in which you can look at this. Some people usually are like, oh, why do I have to write so much? But really, once you start getting into the topic and what you really want to say, there's just so much you want to say. Do you get what I mean? And therefore, every single word that you write has to have a specific aim. You can't just write words aimlessly. Like, it's like you're building a body of art. So every single word that you're putting in there has its own significance, because you can't really go past a certain word count, and that's why every word should be accounted for, right? You have to be very specific with what you're saying. There has to be a certain level of specificity in the way that you write things. You have to be straight to the point. Do not try to beat around the bush, because you might lose the person that you write in the dissertation for, which is yourself, you know, the one who's reading your dissertation and the one who's responsible for giving you your marks. Number 4, while writing a dissertation, what I didn't know before I started writing is that you answer a certain question when you're writing a dissertation. What question are you answering is what you should ask yourself even before you start writing, right? It needs to be, your dissertation should be an answer to a certain question. Is it presenting an argument? That's something else you should be asking yourself about. Like, you should ask yourself. What else did I say about that? I've really been like, honestly, visiting different lecturers and different tutors, and they've given me so much good advice that I really thought, you know what, I need to share this with you guys, because we can all win together. Like, there's no limit to what we could do together. And obviously, my light isn't going to dim just because I'm lighting somebody else's candle. That is that. And then you also need to make that is the next point, make your dissertation your own. And I feel like this is why copy and paste and what is this other thing called? I forgot what it's called. You know that thing when like there's too much, it's called pre something. Sorry, I'm blackout. And that's why I feel like a lot of copy and paste, especially even when it comes to referencing, is discouraged when it comes to writing such things, because it makes it less of your own. Like, you need to be able to project your own ideas and make the dissertation your own. And obviously cheating is out of the question. You need to look for a niche that is your own. Like, you also need to ask yourself questions like, why did I pick this topic? You know, why do I really want to talk about it? Yes, I'm passionate about it, but how am I going to reflect it that is also going to stir up the interest of the person who's reading it? Do you get what I mean? And yeah, basically just what makes your dissertation yours. And then, do you have a unique selling point? So, for instance, I don't want to tell you guys what I'm writing about, but when you're writing about something, you don't just want to report it. Do you get what I mean? So this is what happens, and this is why it's unfair, and that's not how you want to make your dissertation sound. Okay, you've done your reading, but what makes your selling point unique? Is there a third angle to what everybody else has been saying? Okay, this is what people have been saying. This is why it's unfair. This is why it should be like this. But what is your unique selling point of this dissertation? That is what you need to look for. And that is what is going to make your dissertation unique and stand out. Yeah, you need to study from what already exists, like I just said, and build it to what doesn't necessarily stand out yet. Just, put it out there, push your idea out there, make sure your idea is unique. And last but not least, and I didn't know why I didn't start with this point, because it's so important, because I've seen this so much, and people who are like in years above me, and it's like they've done so much work, so much great work, they're almost finishing their dissertation, and then there's a shortage of something and their work is not saved, or they just deleted it by mistake. They do not know how to retrieve it. And then you're so stressed, you have to rewrite all this work that you've already written again on a shorter time scale, and it's just so much stress. So last but not least, do save your work after every single time. I would actually tell you to save it after every hour, after every couple of minutes. I'm actually that person. After every half hour, I'll be like, yep, save this, and then have a backup. I don't know about you, but I love to write in hand first, so that if anything happens with the technology, I'm good, because I've got all my notes saved. Another thing you can do is just save it on a chip or something of this sort. Have your own. What are the? I feel like it's light. It could be the light, because what are these things called? You guys know what I mean. The things that you insert into the computer and save your work on it. It's not a joystick. What is it? Those sticks anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's very, very important, as insignificant as it might seem. Yeah, and obviously all the best. All the best, and do not leave your work till the last minute. Manage your time properly. My bad.